What's going on, Buff Nation? Welcome back to another video. So if you're a crackhead like me and love yourself some college football, you're probably get excited for what is to come next year with all these transfer portal ads and want to get an idea of like, hey, how is this team going to look headed into August, September of 2024? Well, I'm a visual guy. I like to see it. We know the transfers that came in, but how are they going to look on the football field? How does this thing lay out? I got all that for you today. We're going to talk about where they were, who left, and now where they're going to be after the recruiting cycle and transfer portal. I know it's not closed, but the offensive line, the team comes to a close. Things change. Obviously, we'll dive into that. But before we get into anything, roll my theme music, baby. Somebody commented they wish it was longer. I don't disagree. It's got a nice little ring to it. All right, let's move into it. So, first order of business. What I went and did, I did a couple of things. I took a look at the last depth chart of the year, which obviously, I know with injuries, that kind of changes, but took a look at that, and then a look at the PFF score, because if you don't have a PFF score, that means you didn't play enough to even get a score. And basically put together the line that was last year, including the depth, okay? So you can see the starting line is at the very first top. I also put their PFF score on the bottom. The secondary guys, I did not. I think the only one in the secondary that had a PFF score, meaning they had enough reps to get a score, was Kareem Harden at right tackle, but it was for right guard. But again, this depth chart, the final depth chart of the year, had him at right tackle. This will play a factor later on, so just hang on tight. All right, so you can see we've got Gerald Christian with 62, Jack Bailey at 61. These are their PFF scores, by the way. Van Wells, 67. Landon Beebe, 65, and Savion Washington at 65. It's at the bottom right there. It's small. I do apologize. Trying to get a lot in. So that's where things were as of last year, right? So now with the transfers coming in, with some of the recruits coming in, with some guys leaving, with some guys saying, where does this leave the offensive line? We got questions. We want to know, where's this train headed? I got you. Sit back. No need to worry, okay? Here's what's going to happen. So, as from what I can gather, this is what happened. Van Wells, he's entered into the portal, arguably the best offensive lineman. Now, Savion Washington dealt with some injuries last year, so I expect him to have a breakout year this year. Christian, he also entered into the portal. And Landon Beebe has not entered into the portal, but this man's been in college since 2003, it feels like. So, I believe he's out of eligibility. So, I also crossed him off as well. The rest of the team, as you see as it is, appears to be remaining on the football team and with some years of eligibility left. So that is where we are currently. And Landon Beebe is also not on the scholarship, the scholarship list, which also leads me to believe he is no longer there. So the rest of these guys are still on the scholarship list. They're still currently on the team. So now where does this shake up? I know there's also some guys again that we're not going to talk about that are on the team. Reason to believe that I didn't place them here. I don't believe they're going to start, especially with the guys coming in. So this is where things get a little fishy. I don't want anybody yelling at me in the comments. This is all up as a prediction. This is a very opinionated. So if you feel like, hey, I got something wrong, I'm all ears, okay? I'm not claiming to be right here, just giving you my thoughts based on where these guys played, based on where some of the players played on this team this past year. This is my thought and opinion. But offensive line, these things can get moved around based on need and where they thrive during the offseason. So here we go. Buckle up. This is where things get a little fun. The tackle position is an interesting one. I feel like it's the most depth position they have now, especially with a lot of potential to be really good. Because obviously Jordan Seaton was a tackle. You got Savion Washington, who you think will continue to stay there. Khalil Benson, who they picked up from Indiana. And then Philip Houston. All right, so let's take a look at all this really quickly. Jordan Seaton and Khalil Benson, I kind of just tossed them there. You could probably flip-flop them if you wanted to. You could even put Khalil Benson over Savion Washington. The reason I did not do that is Savion Washington's PFF was higher than Benson, which was at 59.1. So in my opinion, you just got a really good depth piece here that you did not have a year prior. That's why Khalil Benson is backup for me. Although he is a transfer, I think he'll probably start behind Savion Washington if I had to guess. Or maybe they move him to a guard, but I don't see room for him as a guard either. As for the left tackle, we got Philip Houston. He's sitting at a 66 PFF rating. And then, of course, I slid in Jordan Seaton. That might be a little bit overshoot, but I believe Jordan Seaton is going to be a day one impact player with being a 5-star, and I think he jumps all the guys that you just saw in that previous list. So that is 100% the reason why I have him there. So that's the left tackle position. Moving into left guard, massive upgrade. Massive upgrade with Justin Mays, a 78 PFF score. Huge. huge. And Jack Bailey was the starter last year, as we saw, I think like a 60 in the 60 areas. Massive jump. And now you've got Jack Bailey, who obviously started all year last year as a backup. Okay. Left guard looks pretty thick now. Looks pretty juicy. Feeling pretty good about that. The center is honestly the only position that took a little bit of a step back. Van Wells was the highest rated at the time. Offensive lineman, I think close to, was it 69 or 70? I don't remember. And Yakiri Walker from UConn, he played center at UConn. So I'd imagine he would continue to play center for Colorado with this with the rating of 64. So not a massive drop, but a drop nonetheless. And then Hank continues to say as the backup, that's kind of where the depth lies for the center position currently. So that is, where we left that. Now, let's move into, keep on moving on over. Let's go to right guard. Tyler Johnson from Houston with a 65 PFF rating. Again, a little bit of a jump up from what they had there with Landon Beebe in his 14th year of college football. So that is going to be, again, another great addition. This front four thus far is looking extremely good. And then Kareem Harden had, I think, a PFF like 62, 63 maybe. So nothing horrible, but again, what was a depth piece at right tackle, although he had his grade as a guard, meaning he played right guard for most of the year, but at the end of the game, they're moving around due to lack of depth, obviously. Getting to place him back in the position that is fit for him is going to be a huge depth piece. And then, of course, again, the right tackle, which we already spoke about, being between the Savion Washington and Khalil Benson. This is like, look, so there's some of the things that maybe it plays out a little bit differently. I believe that it is Savion Washington's position to lose. And they may shuffle this thing out more than how we're looking at it. Again, I'm going based off what was last year, where these guys played last year, where they thrived last year, and how that fits into Colorado's scheme. However, sometimes teams are limited, and they have to move guys around because they don't have enough of a position. So the guy might have to play out of position for the year, which could hurt his score, right? Which could not may not make him look as good as he should. But I feel like this is honestly a hell of a lineup. Maybe you can, with Yakiri and Khalil Benson, maybe you put those guys in the center. You've got a little more tackle depth that isn't being shown currently. You do have some guys on staff. Again, I only have the first line and the second line of defense here for the O-line. So again, I want to hear from you guys though. This is all opinionated. If you like this kind of content, let me know. We can do the defensive line as well, the cornerback room. We can do all those rooms. Again, just to kind of get prepared for what is to come. Things may change, but right now this seems to be how it's going to look heading into next season, which, although, look, the score, you could tell, I mean, immediately all these scores have jumped up tremendously. And also to kind of, again, break it down by the numbers, this new offensive line, starting line, the average PFF score is about a 67.6, almost 67, as the previous starting line was an average of a 64. But most importantly, which I do not have, is the secondary, the depth of it. The depth of it is probably night and day. We're talking a big percentage swing. Now, Jordan C., we don't have any numbers, but we know what he's going to bring to the table. So, look, we know where the struggles were. It was in the trenches. It has improved from last year, on top of obviously Pat Schumer getting the call to be the offensive coordinator. He is running the helm, and then obviously a new offensive line coach. It's going to be crazy to see how this impacts everything. And of course, D-line needed some help too. Again, if you guys like this content, we could definitely do the defensive line as well for you. Hope you guys did enjoy the content. If you did, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe. We are so close to 8,000. I can smell it. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.